Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video where today we return with part 6 of our MotoGP 24 Let's Play. Yes, we return this weekend here for the Red Bull Grand Prix of the Americas. Yes, COTA returns. It's quite odd. So far this season, we've raced at 3 tracks that I actually know, which has been absolutely fantastic. Of course, if you missed out on the video that went live yesterday from Portimao, I would highly recommend going back and checking it out. But yeah, we've got a few little bits and pieces as we come into this weekend. You can see Farioli kind of accepted that I didn't actually mean to cause him an incident, so we'll try and stay friendly with him as we head into this weekend as well there. But yeah, we've kind of got some big goals that we need to achieve here. We need to try and beat Rida in the championship standings before the end of this weekend. He's currently got a 7-point lead over us as we are still 5th place in the Riders' Championship there. Furusato and Suzuki leading the way at the front of the field. In Moto2, it is still Vietti at the top of the table, and then in MotoGP, Jorge Martin now tied with Brad Binder at the top of the championship standings as well there. Marc Marquez all the way down in 13th place early on this season. But what can we do as we return stateside this weekend? Hopefully we can try and get a good run under our belt. But yeah, I'm sure those S's in the first sector are going to be difficult to nail.
Morning from Austin. Here we are again from the circuit where the second practice session is about to begin. The session will be important both to test the race pace and to book a place in Q2.
Well, I've changed the format around slightly this weekend. We're no longer just going to have normal free practice. We're just going to have free practice 1 and 2, which of course set the aggregate times as you move into qualifying. Ultimately, I don't want too much of this video to be kind of qualifying and practice sessions. So hopefully that's going to put more of an emphasis on the race as well. So we need to try and get some good laps under our board, and doing that at turn 1 is not the ideal way to start. Well, I guess the thing that I still really struggle with on this game is I keep trying to just blip the throttle whilst we're trying to change direction, and that makes things really, really difficult. The bike then wants to move around a lot underneath you if that's something you attempt, as proven there. Just if I brake a little bit early into a corner, I then try and just blip the throttle to make sure that we don't cut the inside of a turn. And it is not working for me. It is a very, very bad habit that I desperately need to shake. Well, first lap then isn't really going to be a benchmark whatsoever, but it is a 1:26.8. I wonder how much quicker by the end of this weekend we're going to be able to go. I also just want to say a massive thank you to everyone for the support on yesterday's video. Obviously, I was a little bit worried after I took the weekend away that we were going to kind of come back to this series and no one would be interested anymore, but actually that episode has done the best of any so far, which I think is pretty mental. So thank you to everyone, and hopefully, obviously, we're going to try and continue this series for a whole lot longer, of course. You know, in the ideal world, I'd love to try and win the MotoGP crown at some point down the line, but making our way through the final few corners. Top time now coming in of a 22.1, so I think we're actually going to be pretty close to that, actually, as we make our way through in towards the final turn. Just make sure we run nice and tight on the entry, get on that throttle nice and early on the exit, and it is going to be a 1:22.3, so we go only a 10th and a half slower than Suzuki, 3.5 tenths clear of Alonso, but as always is the case, I'm worried that we're going to see AI improve. I'm trying to take a really wide line into turn 1, but it is scary over that bump. Arioli, of course, the man we had beef with a couple of weeks ago. We can't keep colliding with him. If we do, then clearly he'll think there is some more malicious intent going on. It's so difficult to try and find a line that works through these S's. You just get ever so slightly out wide, and it immediately ends up going badly for you, as we've got a yellow flag in sector 1. Luckily, we've just left that first sector, so our lap won't get invalidated. Furusato now bumping that pace down into the 1:21s, and hopefully we're about to join him. We're half a second away, but we are 6 tenths up as we make our way in towards the final corner. Try and tuck into that apex once again. Get the power down. We lose a little bit of time out of the final turn, but we go up to P2 just half a tenth away. I'm going to head back to the garage and see if the AI times continue to drop. Well, there we go then. We do end up P2, but you can see the likes of Alonso, Colin Vaya and Suzuki all improving towards the end of the session. But yeah, we can just emulate that again in second practice, then obviously we should instantly skip past Q1. That would be nice. So I'd like to get into a routine of that, simply because obviously there's just a lot less risk involved. Well, I think back out then into free practice 2. David Alonso now sets the pace so far on a 1:23.1. I guess for the likes of Furasato and myself, we know we don't need to, you know, set the world alight in this second session. But I'm hoping just try and get another good time on the board. Hopefully a high 22 if possible. And try and get this second free practice session done nice and quickly. Well, I never quite know for sure just how good these laps are until we actually get back round and take a look at the timings. But this one's felt pretty hooked up. I'm always worried that I'm going to say that and then suddenly the lap time is going to be absolutely terrible. I've got no idea what that 1.8 second delta is referring to. If it's David Alonso at the top, then I will be very, very surprised. And as we make our way through in towards the final couple of corners, so difficult to try and get the line right through there. Obviously, you're trying to get the bike as far over to the right-hand side before you flick it in for that penultimate left. This final corner a little bit more simple, just a simple 90-degree left-hander. At the final corner, we're going to smash that best time, a 1:20.6. We go 2.5 seconds clear of anybody. How on earth have I managed that? Well, I'm guessing a lot of people weren't pushing as much in that second session. A lot of people actually never even bothered setting times. So I don't quite get how that works out in the end. But I guess we'll take it. I don't really know who's out and who isn't, to be honest, looking at that. I would assume it's just basing that on the top group. But like, for the example, Farioli never set a time. Does that mean he makes it through? I don't really know. Either way, we have made it through. So I will see you guys in Q2. Well, heading back out then onto the circuit. Yeah, seems like a really odd little weekend so far in terms of the pace for everybody. Rossi has set the fastest time so far here of Q2, but a 23. I mean, he's the only rider so far to have set a time, but if we could somehow get close to that 2:20 again, I would be shocked but very happy, as again the bike tries to wriggle free down at turn 1. It might be worth me trying to avoid that bump. Well, we seem to be making up bags of time through that first sector against the likes of Holgado and co. I think it's around the rest of the lap we don't have as much of an advantage. Seems like, yeah, if we just get that first sector nailed, then we're on for a really, really good time. That'll mean we get some nice slipstream as well down this back straight, as we'll have a look to the outside of one of our fellow riders. Trying to avoid making beef with too many others so far this season, as our teammate then, oh, we break so much later than. Am I going to get it stopped though? Not quite inside the white lines, but we gather it up. Come on, Holgado. We don't need to have too much of a fight over this right towards the end of the session as we make our way through. Oh, a little bit wide there, a little bit of a wiggle as we make contact with our teammate. Down the inside. No, he breaks way later than me through that final couple of corners. Kelso now goes top of the board. Reader now goes quicker than him. So those are the benchmarks being set by the riders at the moment. Not the best line through the final turn, but we get on the throttle nice and early on the exit, and that is going to be another 1:21.3, 2 seconds clear of anybody. How on earth are we doing this? Oh yeah, we can see other times are improving for the other riders as David Alonso now goes up into P2. I'm waiting though for Suzuki and Furasato. There we go, Suzuki now into P2. Where is Furasato? Going to be able to set the pace. But yeah, I mean, that first lap though, I don't think we really appreciated just how well I nailed it, because we are 6/10 down by the end of our second one. So we very much seem to be kind of a one-run rider. Is that a thing? I don't really know. There we go. Immediately now, someone else has gone quicker than me. Too sure who that is. As we round our way through the final corner, they've only gone 0.03 of a second quicker, so we might be immediately about to snatch this back, but quite clearly there is pace now for the other riders here, as we're going to be the first rider back into the 2 minute 20s even. You can tell I'm far too used to Formula 1 cars, but happy with another improvement, as I think this is going to be our last run. Please don't fall off at turn 1 as soon as I say that. No, we hang on. Well, there we go, rounding our way in towards the final few corners of my final qualifying lap here. Yeah, we just simply, I think the tyres have gone past their peak, and especially when we feel like we're nailing laps now, you really do start to notice that as well. But as we make our way through the final couple of corners, I think this might be good enough for pole position, though. I reckon dipping into those 220s is going to be enough. I'm just waiting for like Colin Vyers or someone to come through and immediately smash it, because he's pretty much taken every pole I've ever seen on this game. A 122.2, certainly not enough for an improvement, but is that enough for pole position? And the answer to that question is yes, it is. By 0.3 of a second, we take our very first pole here at the Circuit of the Americas there. Very, very odd session, though. Top 3 covered by 0.6, and then a 1.1 second gap back to Tatsuki Suzuki there. So, yeah, a little bit confused by that one. Our main rival, though, who we need to be beating, he's down in P15, so we've got a huge opportunity to try and take points out of him. Colin Vyer, 2.5 seconds off the pole, so a very, very odd session, but let's get into the race.
Hello to all our friends back home from the USA. We're live from Austin, one of the tracks with the highest elevation change in the entire championship. In a few moments, we'll move to the main straight to watch the start of the Moto3 race. We're on the starting grid where the lights will soon go out to start the race.
Well, here we are then, trackside for this third round of the season. We need to try and get that race objective as well of a top 5 finish. And hopefully, of course, yeah, with Ruida staying way down the order after qualifying, we've got a chance to try and overhaul that 7-point deficit we have to our rival on the 99 bike. It's 99 versus 66 here at the Circuit of the Americas, but what can we do? Starting, no, I think we'll go mediums, to be honest. I don't really want to risk the soft tyres falling off. They haven't lasted that long in qualifying either.
Race officials give the okay. Riders have their eyes fixed firmly on the lights. Just a few more seconds and the Grand Prix of the Americas is go.
Come on then, what can we do in this race? Focusing up on those 10 red lights here at COTA. This lights out and away we go there. And again, not a particularly good start for us. I don't get how the AI do it on this game, but as we make our way up in towards turn 1, I'm very, very worried about getting collected, which I am. And I'm going to get flattened by my teammate. Lovely. Absolutely lovely. So we have gone from first down to basically the back of the grid. That is very disappointing there. Ivan Ortola and David Munoz both getting a warning incident. But I guess we've got to go again. No, I'm sitting on pole. Somehow we've cheated that. I don't know whether that means we've got a lap less or what goes on with that. It's 10 red lights once again, though. It's a mighty long hold, and it's lights out and away we go. So one rider out already. Again, I'm going to get another bad start. I think we just got to send it in towards that first corner and try just to avoid absolutely everybody as we make our way through. No trying to claim a late apex, which we will do. It's got more yellow flags out as well. Will everyone make it through? I think one more rider has gone down. And now if things were to finish like this, Ruida and I would be tied in the standings. But when I thought we were going to be restarting this race on the back of the field, I was incredibly nervous. So I'm not really sure how that whole system works. But yeah, safe to say we're kind of in control of our own destiny here as we're trying to look around the outside of Ortiz, I want to say. Yeah, we've got to try. I mean, surely, at the very least, we should be able to get a podium here. Maybe even the winners, Suzuki and Alonso, side by side, up over the crest. We're going to get very, very aggressive there with David Alonso. And I'm going to get a warning for track limits, which I didn't really realise that I'd gone out of there, but I guess that is what it is. Or I'm not. I don't really know what's going on with that, because no warning has showed up on my screen there. Maybe perhaps deeming us at fault for the incident with Alonso, which I would probably have to agree with. But it is Spurasato that leads the way at the front, of course. We're not only fixated on these first 3 rounds, I'm also very, very conscious, you know, that we want to try and fight for the Moto3 crown and potentially earn ourselves a ride in Moto2 next season. So we've really got to try and get on with it, try and move our way back through the corners, through the positions here, through the corners. We go down the inside of Angel Pequeras. I'm sure he's going to try and have a dive back up the inside there on that Leopard bike. Around the outside we'll go, though, and back into P4 before the end of lap 1. Well, the AI's race pace then certainly seems to be a whole lot stronger than they were in qualifying. You can see Furusato trying to build up a little bit of a lead there, but Joel is trying to hang with him. through these first few turns. I mean, through the S's, it does feel like a little bit of a lottery. Tend to get a bit more understeer through there, like we saw with the hairpin at Portimao. But, yeah, are we going to be able to try and keep it out of trouble here? We need to try and move past Suzuki without falling off, like we did in Portugal. Oh, no! That is not what we needed, and we are certainly going to drop way down the order there, even behind Rueda in this race. So a very, very silly little mistake there as we get back past Holgado. But now we've got our work cut out in the rest of this race. What is Rossi doing? There's dive bombs, and then there's whatever that was. How on earth has he not fallen off? Right, come on then, Rueda. Try and do the old up and under. That is one thing I will give this third sector here at COTA a lot of credit for, especially on a motorbike. Gives you a really good opportunity to try out some different lines and get some good strategic racing. Will we be down the inside of my teammate? No, not quite there. Because we all have to blend the throttle through the first part of this section. Oh, he's going to try and run wide into me, but we've both got the run on Ogden down the middle, splitting the pair of them there, and that is a very, very cheeky double overtake. It's not going to last for long, though. Yes, it will. If they both try and dive it into that penultimate corner, we will make it back through and up into P11. Very, very cautious, though, of other riders trying to move past me. But yeah, almost back inside the top 10, though. I still reckon P4 is definitely possible. Top 3, though, might have just broken away. Come on, then. Farioli. I think that's Farioli. No, I don't think it is, actually. I think that's Fernandez, isn't it? Sorry. I feel like I am definitely getting better with the names on this game, as Colin Vai is clearly making some progress up later on, but back inside the top 10 we go. Will we be able to utilise the slipstream here to get a run on him? Of course, my main focus still is making sure that we're ahead of Rueda in the championship standings. We try and get a run down the outside of P9. Yeah, I'm looking at it. I reckon P4 is definitely still on the cards as David Alonso side by side. Whoa! I was not expecting that there as we just sneak down the inside of the number 12. Alonso braking early. The 12 rider, not sure who that is, clearly has got a problem with me as he tries to bump me around. As we make our way through the end of Sector 3, we've got Zata? I can't remember his name. I'm trying my best to remember every possible name I can on this game. But Alonso, to round our way through the final few turns, are we going to be able to try and find a long way around? Got to be careful, though, over that curbing. Come on, just a couple more corners to go. And we'll have reached half distance here. Those top 3 aren't a million miles away, so I reckon if we can get some good laps under our belt whilst they continue to battle, then we might stand a chance before the end. But P7 we're back up to. The points gap now, just 2 as we set new fastest lap of the day. Look at these 3 weaving their way around the middle sector as we got a few riders actually that have been involved in incident. Nepa there, I think, has been taken out. But as we go down the inside, of Ortiz, clearly not a fan of that one. So we'll have to try and switch him on the exit of the corner. Gap to leader is starting to come down just a little bit, but it's really going to depend on what we can do when we've got some free track space here, as can we try and switch him off the exit. Ortiz running way too deep there. We'll get down the inside. The points tally finally swings back in my favour, and we should be safe now. 5.5 seconds up to Suzuki, who has got a warning. Remember, we fell off battling him last week for that P2, so I'd love to get redemption. Oh, well, I'm getting a little bit nervous. Rueda is still making gains further behind me, and is now the gap is just 1 point as we are on the penultimate lap of this race. However, I'm starting to get a little bit nervous. This might be the first boring finish we've ever had on MotoGP 24. Every other race has ended with chaos or battling. Now we're just kind of in a little bit of no man's land here. We're still trying to close in on Suzuki, but 4.5 seconds with just over a lap to go. It is not looking good. Come on then, through the final corner, 1 more lap to go. That gap to Suzuki is still floating at about 4 seconds as we almost go under the 1 minute 20s there. A 2:20.1, but 1 more lap to go. 1 point in it between myself and Rueda. Unless something happens between the top 3, though, I don't think we're going to be able to do anything. Suzuki gets another warning for track limits. I don't know whether he'll get like a long lap penalty or a time penalty or what if he gets too many of those. As Angel Baqueras does the same behind me, but So we make our way around this final lap. I think all I'm really chasing now is, first of all, hoping that Rueda doesn't gain another spot. And second of all, just wanted to see if I can go sub 220 to finish this race with a high. Oh no, just for a split second there, Rueda's making moves. No, come on, we just need... I've never thought I'd say this, but I actually wanted to lose places towards the end of this race. And as we make our way in towards the final couple of corners, we're down 1 point to him. I thought the consistency was going to pay off for us, but as we make our way through the final corner, I think there's been some chaos behind. And I think we're going to lose out by 1 point, as it is P4 at the line. Well, Furusato then taking the dub, just half a second clear of Joel Esteban there with Suzuki in P3. Just that one little mistake early on really did cost us, as our fastest lap proved that we absolutely had the pace there. Zuratuza, Ortola, Ralston, Via, Rueda and Paqueras rounding out our top 10 when all is said and done there. Holgado only down in P16, so that means as we take a look at the Riders' Championship standings, Esteban now all the way up to P3, and despite, I think, 2 fifths and a 4th, we're down to 6th overall in the Riders' standings there, as Furusato and Suzuki basically have double the points of anybody else there. But gutted, we lose out to Rueda by just 1 point in that goal as well, so I'm sure the team aren't going to be too happy with that. Constructors-wise, we are P5 still, ahead of the CF Moto Aspar team as well, so hoping we can try and have a bit of a better run through the next few rounds as well. But thank you all so much for watching. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure to leave a like, get yourself subscribed, and we should be back tomorrow, I believe, ready in Jerez.